Good afternoon, everyone. Steve Georgie here from Allendale's trading floor. January 16th. We did have some exciting markets once again today. For most of the session, corn and wheat were actually lower, but by the end of the session, things looked a little different. Corn closing just a bit higher, up 3/4 of a cent. Beans, though, 23 cents higher, with wheat up about 2 1/4. So here's some of the stories that were around today. The reason why corn sat back here and was lower for most of the session, we did have some ethanol production numbers that came out earlier today. Sharply lower once again. So the numbers that we'd seen today, 784 versus 826 last week. We saw production down sharply, as I mentioned. This is the lowest level for the year so far. But this is also the lowest that we've seen versus year-ago levels as well. So for this week, last year, we're down 17% from those levels. So a pretty good drop. Now, looking back at that last report, the USDA didn't touch these ethanol levels. But here today, I think going forth, they're going to need to try to make some changes here. We're not seeing any increase here, at least we haven't yet, as far as ethanol. That's going to have to be addressed. The past 14 weeks, we've seen these ethanol numbers at this 10% decline from a year ago or more. 10% is important because that's where USDA is at right now. They're looking for a 10% decline over a year ago. Today we had a 17% drop from a year ago. So 11 out of the last 14 weeks have been weaker than expected. So like I said, USDA is going to have to address this probably sooner than later. Some of the other talks out there right now, we do have export sales that are out tomorrow. Hopefully we can see some better bean exports. And there's talks that China had bought 30 cargoes, up to about 30 cargoes here from the U.S. as far as and South America. We'll see what we get here. The expectations for beans, 750,000 tons to 950,000 tons. So last week we were at 406. So hopefully we can see some bigger sales there, maybe continue driving beans, but the expectation today really kept beans higher, up about 23. Something else that you're hearing is South American weather. We do have Argentina right now that is a concern. They are dry. The next major rain event there is late next week. So we've got to watch that. We're trading South American weather right now as well, or at least the market's getting excited about that. So keep that in mind here as well. Some of the outside markets not doing a lot. The dollar up about 2 cents. Crude oil, though, gaining back everything it lost yesterday. Crude's up about 90 cents today, 94.15, and continuing to show some strength. As far as cattle, though, cattle today down about $1.90. 128.50. We broke down below some technical support levels today, pushing cattle even lower. There were reports out there seeing cash cattle trade 125 in Texas. This is a dollar lower from last week. We traded 126, and have this anticipation maybe to see us keep this lower trade here this week. So that pushed us down below some support levels and really kept this negative feeling across the cattle here today. And that's even with box beef this morning. Choice up 32, select up $1.35. So should have found a little support there, but not after the charts took a hold of the market and really keeping prices lower. Hogs mixed today. Third day in a row that we've seen kind of this sloppy back and forth trade. Cash hogs still trying to climb. We tend to see that cash market continue to jump and continue to rally going into April, and we're kind of expecting that here as well. But some sloppy trade over the last few days, not a lot of movement in the hogs, but the big movers today was cattle. So I want to mention our conference, as I've been doing here the last few days. That is coming up rather quick, and wanted to extend that invite once again out to you. Check those calendars, give us a call, and get that seat reserved for you. You can reach us here at 800-262-7538, or check us out on the web, allendale-inc.com. Hope you had a great day today, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Take care.